Trudell, Mike Bresnahan, so the whole gang is here. But let's start with an injury update because that seems to be the theme with this basketball team for this season. Prior to tonight's game, the Lakers listed Andre Drummond as questionable with the left elbow impingement, and Markieff Morris also is listed as questionable with an ankle sprain. Drummond will play tonight, but Markieff Morris is a game-time decision. We will update you as we get more. So big game, James. Every single game, it just feels like someone new's missing. Hopefully it's not Markieff. He's been great for this Laker team.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy whirlwind of injuries. You know, it's tough. I feel kind of not sorry for them, but, you know, their bodies are probably wondering what the hell's going on. You know, you got the bubble, you got a quick turnaround, you know, guys trying to get in shape when they're not normally, their body's not normally ready for that. And I think, I'm not saying that's why there's a lot of injuries, but throughout the league, there's a lot of, inconsistency in what we normally see. And I think a lot of it has to do with the, just the mental stress and not having enough time to do what you normally do, not practicing. It's just crazy because I see it with us. I see it with a lot of other teams. So the body is a weird thing. It's used to a certain way of thing. I'm not saying that's it, but it just seems like there's a lot more little nagging injuries than we usually see.
Big Game, you are not alone in that thinking. It's a big part of it, I think, and it's been plaguing a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that is it.
Yeah.
I really
Simple.
do. Yeah, no, I think James is right. Like 71-day turnaround, specifically for this Lakers team, but for the entire league. Yeah. And in particular, the teams in the bubble that made, playoff runs. We heard about Jamal Murray going down with the Nuggets. The mental, psychological, spiritual even feeling around COVID and the protocols and the testing, and this is different, and this is impacting this Lakers team in a bad way for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jamal Murray. We're going to get to him in a minute, but first we're going to get to this Laker basketball team. The turnovers have hurt this team, kind of segueing into that from the injuries, never easy. You look at the turnover troubles the last 5 games. 3 of the last 4 games, guys, they've been over 20. 19 against the Clippers. The best game they played against the Nets, only 15, and it resulted in 11 points. So that's the difference right there. And time for Fish's Focus, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. Now listen, the Knicks are a great defensive team.
Yeah.
But too many careless mistakes, and 25 turnovers is a season high and it led to 29 points.
Yeah, I mean, as we were kind of looking at it and preparing, I was like, my first thought was too many days in New York.
Yeah.
Like just
Miami, then New York.
Yeah, not that guys are out on the town, but just the longer you're out on the road, it just, as a human being, you just start to get softer a little bit. This trip started, as we go to the wall, this trip started with a practice in Tampa. And they were a little sharper in that game against the Raptors. I think they wanted to win that game against the Nets really bad to send a message to the league overall. But here, after some good Lakers defense, right? THT with the wingspan, creates the steal. And in this fast break situation, jumps before he's really made a decision. Turnover there. Stagger screen here. RJ Barrett is top locking Kuz, trying to push him along the baseline. Kuz accepts that cut, but I'm not sure even if he was able to jump, he would have been able to get to that pass from Dennis. And then here, good flash cut. Keith looking at Andre here, but Nerlens Noel recognizes I'm too small to try to lean against this guy, so I'm going to use my speed, get around, gets his arm in. So just a poor pass, and also Drummond not locking him in. KCP here sets the back screen, right, to get Montrez to the rim against a smaller guy. Keith reads it, but throws it out of Montrez's reach. Turnover Lakers. But as you said, Geets, those weren't turnovers that came from amazing New York Knicks pressure, guys hitting their arm when they passed it. Just a little sloppy, a little loose with the basketball, which a lot of times means mentally, maybe not as focused, distracted, fatigued, and led to poor decisions.
Yeah, and we talked on the postgame show. You saw there a lot of that frustration trying to get the ball to Trez, trying to get to Drummond. They were just not involved at all. Only 4 shots and 3 shots respectively. So 7 total field goal attempts. Great breakdown right there. Let's go inside access. Lakers giving up a lot of turnovers and teams are taking advantage of them. Big game. 18.7 points per game allowed off the turnovers. That's tied for fourth most in the NBA since the All-Star break. And the Hornets, by the way, like to capitalize. They score the fourth most off the turnovers. So big game. Tonight, a chance to kind of end this road trip on a high note and a winning record when most people didn't give you a chance at going 4-3. But you got to take care of the basketball, right?
Absolutely, Geeter. Outside of outscoring your opponents, the two things that just kills you and demoralizes you is you give up an offensive rebound after you play 24 seconds of really good defense, and then you turn it over. I mean, you can accept having a poor night shooting, but you can't accept, turning it over, not getting the opportunities that you deserve, and then not being able to get back and allowing your opponent to score and capitalize off those turnovers. It just goes straight through the team. It's a demoralizing feeling after you play 24 hours of good defense, give up an offensive rebound, turn it over, they're going down, dunking, and you're just kind of, it takes a little bit out of your bubble.
Especially on a night when the Knicks only hit 18% of their threes. The Lakers were plus 21 in that category. Usually you look at the score at the end of the game, and it's a 10-point victory, but it was the opposite. All right, let's get you live to Lakers reporter Mike Trudell, who joins us down the hall. Lakers end their longest road trip of the season tonight. 7 games in 12 days. Who's in, who's out? Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, Geeter, that's certainly where I was going to start with Frank Vogel with the first question. But first, Frank wanted to speak about the passing today of a legendary Hall of Fame coach, Slick Leonard, with whom he became super close when he was in Indiana. So Frank Vogel opened with that a couple moments ago.
I just want to start today by acknowledging the loss of a dear friend, coaching legend, Coach Bobby Slick Leonard, passed away today. Winningest coach in ABA history, winningest coach in Pacers history, Hall of Famer inductee a couple of years back. And, it's just a sad day for me and anybody that's associated with the state of Indiana basketball and the Indiana Pacers. Slick really took me under his wing, as a young coach when I took over, with the Pacers in my first head coaching opportunity. And provided great friendship and support. And I also want to acknowledge Nancy and the love that she showed my wife, my daughters, myself, my whole family over the years, even up until recently. We've maintained this friendship and love, and I acknowledge her. The 66 years of marriage to Slick is just it's a love story to be admired by all. And you guys serve as great role models, for all of us. And just want to, send my thoughts and prayers out to Nancy and the whole Leonard family. And we'll be coaching tonight's game with a heavy heart.
Thank you so much for that, Coach. We'll start off with Mike Trudell.
Hey, Frank, sorry to hear about your loss. Transitioning to the game, Frank, just wondered if you had updates on the guys about availability, who's in and who's not able to play.
Yeah, we're expecting Mark and Wes and Kuz to be able to play. Alfonso McKinney has been cleared from health and safety protocols, so he's available. And Markieff Morris is being evaluated as we speak. His ankle got really sore this afternoon. And, it'll be a game time decision.
Got it, Frank. And the Hornets are also without several players. Just found out that Rozier's not going to play. In addition to Washington, that they're without Hayward and Ball. I suppose your players should know well, right? Not to underestimate, though, a team that doesn't have guys playing. Yeah,
we're the example, the most recent example of, what a team can do when they're extremely shorthanded. Just watching what we were able to do against Brooklyn a couple nights ago, and we know that this team, can do the same. So we're gonna have to play a lot better than we did against New York to get to the.
All right, there's Frank Vogel. And Geeter, by the way, with all the talk about the turnovers, before LeBron went down, they were averaging about the same exact number as they were last season when, look, turnovers weren't great, but didn't really cost them much in the playoffs.
Didn't cost too much.
That should help.
Yeah, that should help quiet the masses. But without LeBron and AD, a lot less room for error, Mike, right?
No question. No
All
question.
right,
We've seen that.
Thank you, Mike Trudell. Appreciate that. Listen, Lakers aren't the only one battling injuries. Fish, you alluded to this earlier. Big game. I know you didn't see the video. Don't watch it. Last night, Jamal Murray tore his ACL. He's out indefinitely. It's such a bummer. This happened with 50 seconds left in the game. The Warriors had this game in hand. Murray had missed 4 games prior to suffering his injury late in the loss to the Warriors. And just a huge blow on so many levels. Number one, this is a great young player, and he is so fun to watch on this Nuggets team. And they had real high hopes, this team, and this puts a damper on him for sure. I mean, he's so good in the playoffs. Yeah,
it really does put a damper. And again, it reinforces some of the things we were discussing, a little earlier, just the wear and tear of a normal NBA season. And then when you start adding the way these seasons have started to overlap, just due to COVID, the schedule, the travel, the strain of just COVID itself, mentally, psychologically, it's taken a lot out of these guys.
And remember, James, Denver was in the Western Conference Finals with the Lakers. They were playing all the way up to October.
And nobody was going harder than Murray was last year. I mean, against the Clippers, that was extraordinary type of play physically. And so, I mean, I hate to see it. It's one of the toughest things to see a player going down, especially somebody who's impactful as he is and was going to be going forward. Yeah, thoughts out to Jamal Murray, the Nuggets organization, for everyone here.
For the lead! Yes! What can I say? Mamba out.
Crazy to believe that this was 5 years ago today. Kobe Bryant left it all on the court that night. Not only did he hit the go-ahead bucket to seal the game against the Jazz, he had 60 points in his final game. Just an incredible night from one of the best to ever lace it up. And, of course, now that night means so much more, guys. And it was just one of those moments in my life where I was so thankful I was there. I was so thankful to be in the moment and still realize that this was something special. It might be the most incredible event I've ever witnessed live, is how I kind of felt about it and still do to this day. Just the vibe in the building, the celebrities. I remember you and I were just looking at pictures the first time you ever came on our show. And Big Game James, it was just one of those nights, man, where from the jump, it was special.
I'm like you, Geeter. I mean, we've won championships, obviously having children is number one, but there was something about that night. It just felt really just tranquil the whole night. We were talking before we came on the air. It was like the Oscars, the Grammys, the music awards. It was like MTV Award, BET Awards, all wrapped up in the country awards, everything you could think of, tech world. Everything was there that night, and it was just one of those magical nights. Kobe started out slow, and then that's just Kobe though. He realized he could have just gone out and into the night and retired, but he was like, nah, I have to give it that one more, because I think he started out like 0 for 8 or something. Yeah,
0 for 5 for sure.
And then he just turned into Kobe. He just did. I still think about that night. It's right there. It sits right in there, man. I'm glad you mentioned all that, because the music industry, the sports industry, everybody was there. Hollywood, everyone was there. And everyone was standing the entire time, Fish. Yeah. Like it was a Game 7. That team had about 19 wins.
Yeah, no, it was a special night, man. Like I couldn't have had this conversation probably any sooner than today. You know what I mean? Like, so it feels right to be able to really think back on it and just feel the positivity and the energy of that night. I'm a Jay-Z fan. Kobe's a Jay-Z fan. We used to, certain bonding moments and brotherhood moments over Jay-Z songs and lyrics. Other than like in the Garden, I don't know if Jay-Z was at a lot of our games over the years. That was the only time I personally remember seeing Jay-Z at a Lakers game like that close.
Fish, he came by our set and shook our hands.
Yeah, no,
it was crazy.
It was unbelievable, the people in the building that night. And only Kobe at that point in his career would still be so arrogantly confident in himself that he could shoot 21 threes in the last game of his career.
And Fish down 14 in the fourth, or whatever it was.
He could just go out there and shoot 21 threes in a game and not care about what his teammates think about it, what everybody else think about it. Like, I'm going out here, I'm putting all the bullets out the gun. I'm going to let it fly.
We were laughing the next day at exit interviews. By the way, Kobe wasn't there. Julius Randle and I were laughing. He was, and you look at the last play to free, he was laying guys out.
Yeah.
Refs weren't calling it. And by the way, I remember people going, Utah was trying.
Yeah, they were.
It was just a brawl out there.
Yeah.
And he was hitting shots from everywhere. I want to know, like, is there a moment that sticks out for you guys? Like, for me, guys, I was leaving the arena hours after our show. We had a 2-hour postgame show. This is 1:30 in the morning. And B. Moore, our producer, called and said, Kobe's on the court. I was leaving up the ramp, came back, walked down, went on the court, and we all were there, like 50 of us, all the media members. And he was out there with his family, and he walked around to each and every single one of us and gave us a hug, and we talked. He talked to each person individually. He and I talked about Beijing, China, the Olympics, where we met, 2008. Like it was crazy. I don't know if anything sticks out for you that night, maybe seeing all your friends, whatever it was, Fish, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, the moment that they showed on air, like after, like, because, I mean, it was so crazy that night. There weren't really any moments where it was just you and Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I mean.
Like, you were sharing it with the world. So just, after the game and just getting a chance to see the joy, in his eye and in his face, like, he could not have written that any better. Like, I don't know if he knew it was going to be that night coming in, but the way he finished his career, only he could have done it.
I mean, greatness respects greatness. I mean, if you're a great musician, you admire athletes and you see the similarities, but Kobe's transferal of what he gave to the game, like, I've never seen it transfer to as many people in so many different entities as it did with him. I mean, Muhammad Ali had that global greatness that people just admired. But Kobe, he touched people in a way that I don't know if any other athlete has done that. Michael Jordan did it, of course. Michael Jordan did it. But
big game, I didn't know that until after he was gone.
I don't think I did either.
And I saw the way the entire globe felt about, like, the way we reacted to losing him. Is like, for me,
famous athletes we didn't even know.
Like, as close to him as we were and are, I didn't realize the way people feel
I knew Michael and he were kind of tight, but Michael's not tight with two. I mean, he doesn't get too close. But when I heard Michael speak at the memorial, it brought me to tears because I had no idea that they had such a special bond. And to get to Michael Jordan in a way like that, I've never seen it. So, I mean, Kobe was the bomb, man.
Going into that night, remember, the Warriors won 73 games that night. It was the final night of the season. But I remember LeBron James, because we played this. LeBron had finished a game in Cleveland. He was a few hours ahead. And I'll never forget him telling the media, Allie was probably there covering it. He said, hurry up, I got to go watch Bean. Everybody knew that night was Kobe's final night.
And crazy. Special.
All right, Lakers and Hornets will tip off in Charlotte in about an hour. Half hour. Andre Drummond will be there despite an elbow issue. Dre will be back in the lineup. He's looking to bounce back after a disappointing 3 points last night in New York. And next, the Lakers welcome in fans. So for more, we send it over to Allie Clifton, who's now speaking with Staples Center Representative Danielle Schneider.
We want to welcome in Danielle Snyder, Senior Vice President of Guest Services and Security at Staples Center. Thanks for joining us, Danielle. Thursday will be the first game in 12 months that fans will be back at Staples Center. And as we know, a lot has changed since then. So let's begin with who is allowed to go to games and what is required of fans attending in terms of COVID restrictions.
Yeah, so here's what we know is we know that guests have to be a resident of California in order to purchase tickets in advance, and then they have to sit within their own household. Those households have to be distanced in the arena, so they have to be distanced by at least 6 feet. And then also we need to have a proof of health verification. And what that means is they need to show proof of either a full vaccination, 2 weeks past your last shot, or a negative COVID-19 test taken within 72 hours of the event. So these are the things that we know.
Okay, so in terms of getting inside, that's one thing. But even getting to the game, ticketing, parking, how is that going to be handled? No paper ticketing, correct?
Everything's gone contactless. So we're 100% digital on our ticketing. We want to make sure that our parking passes are as well. And then also, we want to make sure our fans are prepared even before they leave the house. So that's making sure that your ticket is on your phone. We want to make sure that they understand that we have a no bag policy now for our contactless security screening. So making sure you only take items that can fit in your pockets and then can come quickly through security that way. Absolutely no bags, no purses, no clutches. Very sorry to say, but that's the way we can do it in a contactless and safe manner.
Okay, so not even the clear bags?
Not even the clear bags, only items that can fit in your pocket. But we think that this is going to be a great amenity for our guests that can then get into our building in a contactless manner and also be really quickly through security.
Okay, so we also see you inside a Staples Center as we speak right now. You're wearing a mask. How about the policy in terms of masks inside?
Yeah, so we're going to make sure that all of our guests have a face covering on, fitting securely over your nose and over your mouth. Any type of cloth face covering is allowed. We just want to make sure that we're staying away from things like bandanas or gaiters or things with valves. Anything that is recommended by the CDC is what we'll allow inside Staples Center, and make sure that you have on prior to entering the building.
Okay, and finally, as we know, part of going to a game is getting something to eat and drink. Danielle, how has that changed moving forward?
That's changed too. We're a 100% cashless venue now, so we want to make sure that our guests use contactless forms of payment, such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards and debit cards will be accepted. We will have cash to card converting kiosks available within the venue as well. If you do only have cash, you'll mobile order your concessions, food, beverages from our concessions, and then enjoy them outside or on the concourse. There's going to be no food and beverage allowed in the seating area, which is going to be new for our guests. So we've expanded Staples Center out to the outside, so you can easily enjoy the great Southern California weather outside by enjoying your food and beverages there.
Danielle, as we've learned just from speaking over these last few minutes, there's been a lot of work that has gone in to make this happen, but I know you know, just as so many people, we're excited to have fans back at Staples Center. How excited are you?
Can you believe it's been almost 400 days since we had a
insane.
fan back in Staples Center? It's incredible. And, you know, like, I was lucky enough to be able to come to an event and work an event when we didn't have fans in the building, and it's just not the same. So we are beyond thrilled to be able to have our fans back in the building, back where they belong, cheering for their home team, and really having a great experience with them and our team members, who we've also missed as well.
Danielle, thank you to you, your crew, and everyone who has made this possible. We look forward to seeing fans back in Staples Center very soon. And to you, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Great interview right there. Health verification. Here are some of the protocols, just so you know. Must present photo ID with full vaccination record or a negative test result within 72 hours of the event. Guests over 2 required to wear a mask. Bags or purses of any size prohibited. It's got to fit in your pockets. Food and beverage must be eaten at designated areas. Smoking is prohibited. So fans returning for the Boston game, what a welcome sight that will be for these players, guys. Even a small amount will have just real meaning and value, James.
Dude, I'd wear a scuba diving outfit with goggles and everything to get up in any arena right now. I think it's going to be fantastic. Slowly, and safely letting people, enjoy the arena. I'm so happy that we're starting to do that, and safely.
Is doing a show at Staples Center the first thing that would get you out of the tent?
Yes.
Yes.
And I am campaigning. I already have a safe spot inside Staples Center.
Okay.
Up atop.
Good to know.
One of the tunnels there, way out of the way. We can do it. I'm going to campaign for that.
Go ahead, Fish. Jump
Let's
in on
go.
the value and the meaning probably to these players. It means a lot having these fans here, even if it's a small amount.
I think this is good for the NBA and for teams going forward. In recent years, and I think even in this past year, we've been really divided. There's a lot of conversation happening culturally. There have been some issues with fans in different buildings. And I think guys were getting tired of fans, honestly.
Yeah.
Fans sometimes can be rowdy. They can say too much. They drink too much. It gets a little crazy. And I think the break, right, playing with no fans, I think it'll give even the players a greater sense of appreciation for the people that spend their money and their time to come and watch them perform. And I think both sides are going to enjoy being connected again.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. And how appropriate that it's the Boston Celtics. That's some fans' return big game.
Can't wait, Gator.
Right?
That'll be a good one. That'll be a good one.
It's a good team to do it
for our fans and for everybody.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Good interview, Allie. All right. Getting closer to tip-off in Charlotte. KCP has been heating up during this trip. Nearly 17 points per game while hitting 61% from deep over his last 4 games. And next on Access, Ben McLemore is not shy of letting it fly from deep. Up next, Laker reporter Mike Trudell goes one-on-one with the newest Laker.
Access Sportsnet Lakers is brought to you in part by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, the newest, friendliest, and safest casino resort. Good times.
If DJ Citizen James.
Former lottery pick Ben McLemore recently came to the Lakers via the buyout market. He's made quite a splash already. He's made 7 3-pointers in his last 2 games. 5 of those came in the convincing win over Brooklyn. Here is Lakers reporter Mike Trudell with Ben.
All right, Ben McLemore is kind enough to join us from Charlotte, the end of this 7-game road trip, which is really kind of more like a 5-game road trip, but long nonetheless, Ben. Hey, in your experience as an NBA player, what's the key to just keeping that focus, not thinking about the flight home and getting back to Los Angeles?
Obviously taking care of business. Obviously we had a tough one yesterday in New York, but our game plan was go out here, limit our turnovers, keeping that togetherness, and going out here and get this win tonight.
Hey, Ben, so people that have watched the league a long time know your game. The first thing you think of is the shooting, but there's more to it. So I just wondered how you would describe the way that you play on the floor.
All around. Obviously playing both ends of the floor defensively and making shots as well, running the floor, being athletic and things like that. So obviously that's a reason, a big part, those are my decisions coming here, and they recruited me as well to get here as well. So I'm just happy and blessed to be here. And obviously we got a big one tonight and got a chance to win.
Hey, what's it been like for you coming into this situation with such a different lineup every night because of all the injuries, and particularly having LeBron and Anthony Davis there, not yet able to play, but kind of looming, right? You guys know they're coming back at some point. What has that whole dynamic been like?
Leadership. Obviously, that leadership is still there. The great thing about that is them being on the road with us, and obviously not having them on the court, but having them, they're present off the court and things like that to help guys continue to, talk defensively. Little mistakes that we had, coaching us to fix them and things like that, and thinking about next play. And obviously that leadership is big for us.
And I wanted to ask you one last question about your shooting. There were a couple plays, especially in the Brooklyn game, where Caruso threw it, you went up high, caught it, landed, went straight back up and got it off again. Ben, I know you've been working on that over the years to be able to shoot from anywhere, but you think about when LeBron comes back, right? That ball's coming right into the pocket, right? It's coming right into the shooting pocket. It's got to make it a little easier.
Yeah, like I said before, after the game in Brooklyn, when he get back and AD get back, I think it's going to make it much easier on the floor for our spacing. And that's a big thing with us is spacing and getting out there and creating for one another. And obviously when LeBron and AD get back and me on the floor with those guys, it's a lot easier for them to make plays for others or me. And obviously me catching, shooting, and things like that is open up the floor so much for them.
All right, Ben, we appreciate the time, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike. 3-point field goal leaders this month. The Clippers shooting a scorching 45%. The Hawks just under 44. The Suns over 42.5. And look at the Lakers. Remember their struggles? They're now 4th in the NBA at 42.3. Pretty nice. 34% back March 25th. We just saw this in the Nets game, big game, James. Ben is a guy who is not afraid to shoot high volume from 3, and he's not afraid to get hot. And when he does, it's a real nice thing for the Lakers.
Yeah, he seems like the type of player when he sees one goes in, it really, gives him a lot of confidence. And the one thing I've noticed about him is he's a quick shooter, Gator. When it touches his hands, he has the ability to shoot with some fluidity and shoulders square to the bucket, and it's a really good shot. So that's one thing about him, like that right there, that when he gets hot, that now I don't know if he's going to get the volume of shots that he's getting right now when LeBron and AD come back. But as he said, you know, those threes come as the offense flows and the defense collapses and you're patient, dropping to the level of the ball, ready to receive the pass. He's proven at 40% that he can knock them down.
No hesitation. He knows what his job is.
Yeah. Nah, shooting is a rhythm thing, and he looks like he has a good, you know, catch and shoot rhythm. And when two of the best quarterbacks in basketball come back on the court, he should get some nice looks.
All right, tip-off minutes away in Charlotte. LaMelo Ball won over a lot of fans during his rookie season. But he's one of the many walking wounded for the Hornets. Out with a broken wrist. Take Your Shot is next.